All right, I'm here now with Clint Sharples, CEO of Heritage Cannabis, and Len May, who's the CEO of Canna Health, Inc. Gentlemen, welcome.
Good to see you, James.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you bet. So Heritage has made an investment in Canna Health, which makes them a 30% owned or investee.
Correct.
And Len, why don't we start with you? What does Canna Health do?
It helps to find the precise cannabis medicine for you as an individual. Our goal is to limit adverse reactions, basically. So to help healthcare professionals find the ultimate cannabis recommendation for the individual based on their genetics. So we use DNA as a roadmap to find an optimal formulation for an individual.
Mm-hmm. So I took the test, I sent it away, and we came up with this screen, which I'm actually, risk of privacy notwithstanding, going to share with everybody.
Are you sure you want to share this with everyone? There's a lot of red on this.
Well, I know, that's so people will maybe understand why, you know, there's an intensity here. No, I flatter myself. But okay, so now, I've got all of this screen shows me all these different sort of mental conditions or features of my personality under the influence of cannabis, or this is how I'm likely to respond when under the influence of THC, CBD, or both?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we have it broken down into two separate categories, mental health and wellness and physical health and wellness. So this is your genetic predisposition. If you were to consume cannabis, maybe that gene will be triggered. So this says, are you a higher risk, a moderate risk, or a lower risk? So to give you an example, like anxiety, it says a high risk of anxiety. So the anxiety, you may be prone to a quicker fight or flight response than the average population. And by the way, high dose of THC may trigger that response in you and other terpene profiles. Mm-hmm. So we try to mitigate that to give you more of an optimal experience with cannabis.
Right. So I happen to know that high THC levels do, in fact, induce a high level of anxiety in me at times. So I could use this report if I was seeking cannabis as a treatment option for whatever condition a doctor might have recommended it, and I can have this test done, and I can look at it, and a health professional will interpret this and say, well, you should probably not do too high a THC product, absent a balancing level of CBD. Is that the value inherent in this entire proposition?
Yes, and even a step further. So if you click on one of the categories, like anxiety, we show you your genetic profile as it pertains to anxiety, which is called your genotype.
Right.
Then we actually give you a formulation suggestion that is more optimal specifically to you based on your DNA. So if you see, it says like number 6, for instance, if you click on any of those icons, like right over here, it'll pop open a page that'll show you a formulation that is more optimal to you based on your genetics. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that we do not trigger a negative experience so you can have a much more optimal experience. So there's cannabinoids, THC, CBD, but there's also terpenes, which are the essential oil the plant produces. And when you mix the two together, they give you an effect.
Well, this is really interesting. This is recommending very high CBD to THC ratio to a moderate CBD to THC ratio, which, since I've had this revelation myself over a lot of trial and error, I mean years worth, this is exactly the level of, like, so I do CBD every day with almost no THC, just enough to have the entourage effect, have the THC work, and then recreationally I might consider doing up to a 4-to-1 ratio, but CBD to THC, not the other way around like all the kids like.
Exactly.
So this is amazing. This is actually confirming what I have learned painfully through trial and error for years. So that's great. Now tell me, how do you monetize this?
So we have a kit that we sell, which is a genetic kit. It comes in a box. You order online at endocannahealth.com, or it's called an EndoDNA kit. Inside is a big Q-tip, buccal swab. You swab the inside of your mouth, put it back in the box, ship it over to our lab, and it's US $199. And then the other way that we monetize is if somebody has taken any of the other genetic tests, like a 23andMe, an Ancestry.com, Family Tree, any of the other ones, you can upload your raw data that you already own, and we'll translate it in less than 30 seconds, and we monetize that as well.
Fantastic. So Clint, tell me, how does this fit in with the asset mix of Heritage Cannabis?
Yeah, that's a good question. When we were taking a look at this, if you go back about a year ago in cannabis, it became extraordinarily clear that if all you were as a grower, you had a very finite life in this industry, or a very finite profit profile. When we were talking, we were deciding to get into formulations, get into extraction, and various other things, but we also knew that innovation had to be at the forefront. We went looking for ways that, what would be the introduction to people when they're starting to use cannabis. The largest growing segment of the population of users of cannabis in the States are people doing first time using, looking to how it accent their health requirements. And at the very forefront of this would be a kit like the DNA kit. Would have saved you a lot of time, a lot of anxiety, and been able to steer you in the right direction right away. But not just you as a user, it would also help your physician or help whatever healthcare provider that you're dealing with to be able to guide them into a direction that would help you, not just in cannabis, but how it also interacts with your other medication, which when Len was describing this to me when we first met, kind of light went off in my head thinking, this is stuff that is absolutely required in this industry. Not enough is known about this. And by introducing this kit, it could lead to so many more options down the road. In particular, bringing people looking for more knowledge in how cannabis affects them personally, and leads into so many more things that EndoCann has been working on.
Yeah, well, that makes perfect sense. So this is completely legal in Canada. There are no legal ramifications with this test.
No, not that I'm aware of. This is we don't make any claims, and everything that we say here is supported by science.
Okay.
So we provide you the peer-reviewed assay link for any single thing that we post on our site.
So this is all peer-reviewed science.
All peer-reviewed science.
Okay,
yes.
fantastic.
And we also use some artificial intelligence, deep learning. As new science becomes available, you have lifetime updates. So if somebody's doing a clinical trial in Israel or in Canada or in Australia, we get that information and we update your reports on an ongoing basis.
Fantastic.
One of the things that Clint was saying, I just want to add to, because adverse effects and harmful drug-to-drug interactions is really key. Because CBD and other cannabinoids can actually reduce the efficacy of your prescription medication. So if somebody's taking a blood thinner medication and is also taking CBD, it can actually reduce or enhance that experience. So we need to know that we can stagger our CBD and our blood thinner medication. And in order to know how long to pause, you look at your metabolic function, what type of metabolizer you are. We all metabolize things differently. And our test will be able to pinpoint that, what type of metabolizer you are as well.
Cool. All right, so if viewers want to go and sign up for the test, where do they go?
EndoCannaHealth.com or EndoDNA.com.
Perfect. All right, gentlemen, that's a great development for Heritage. I mean, that's
Fantastic.
really impressive.
We're excited.
And I can't wait to see how much uptake there is of this across the entire industry. But for people like me who really left cannabis alone because of the anxiety association over time, I mean, this is just a godsend. So congratulations and thanks for joining me today.
Thanks,
Thank
James.
you. Appreciate it.